Hello everyone, Whitebox here with another game of Spirit Island. So today I'm going to be tackling another Incarna Spirit, Wandering Voice Keens Delirium. This is probably the one that I know least about. I think maybe the one I was least excited for coming off of the previews and stuff, but I'm still excited to see where it goes. I know it uses Strife in sort of a different way than most other Strife spirits do, so let's learn a little bit about this spirit before I get into it. Ages ago, Cause All Living Things to Die was a great and respected spirit until it decided to test the limits of its power. Accounts disagree as to why, and devastated a portion of the island with a vast swath of death. Matters would have gone even worse but for three spirits who cleverly sundered the great spirit's voice and bound it to wander, never returning to its owner. Wandering Voice Keens Delirium only occasionally brings death with its song, now more usually causing derangement, obsession, and folly in those it touches. The Dahan have learned a variety of tricks to avoid the worst of its influence, but are occasionally affected nonetheless. So my setup here, I'm going to put 2 presents on my starting board. I'm using board D for this. So 1 in land 6, and 1 in land 7. Put my Incarna on my starting board in land number 6, unempowered. My Incarna looks like it counts as both a presence and a sacred site, so that's cool. So I get a sacred site from that. I start with my 4 unique power cards and 0 energy. Playstyle here is very positional. Has a highly mobile Incarna, particularly with lots of air, that adds strife and chases towns and explorers around as it roams the island. Has a harder time setting up Dahan counterattacks, but can use Mind-Shattering Song to more directly harm invaders with strife, and earn a fair bit of fear in the process. So this is a high complexity spirit. They're pretty good on control, fear, a little bit less on everything else. So 3 growth options, it's pick 1. Looks like I've got an add move Incarna to a land with my presence. That's pretty mobile. I've got an add 2 presence growth option, and then gain a power card, add a presence, gain energy, gain air. Okay. So it looks like they're one that can gain a lot of presence, depending on how you build them. So let's see how this works. Top track has a few elements on it. It's also got a push at the end of the track, which is nice. Bottom is all card plays, has 1 dead spot, which is interesting. A lot of the newer spirits from Horizons and from this expansion don't really have dead spaces like this, where it doesn't unlock anything. But it makes more sense for a 2 presence adding spirit, because you can get past that in 1 turn if you want to. Okay, I'm going to use this as a marker, so let's take a look at these rules. So Wandering Voice Keens Delirium. Special rules. A clarion voice given form. You have an Incarna, which I have here. If empowered, it isolates its land. Spread tumult and delusion. When your actions add or move your Incarna to a land with invaders, add 1 strife in the destination land. Pretty easy to add strife because of that. In lands with or adjacent to Incarna, if strife is present, Dahan do not participate in Ravage. They do not take damage or counterattack. Isolate has no effect on the adjacency of your Incarna and Dahan. So you gotta move away if you want those counterattacks to happen. Senseless roaming, when your actions add strife to an explorer or town, you may push it. That's cool. Then I've got Inscrutable Journeying, fast power, targeting myself. Each time I move my Incarna into a land with invaders, spread tumult and delusion adds 1 strife. And it's just a reminder. And then if I have 1 air, I can push. If I have 3 air, I can push twice. If I have 5 air, I can push 3 times. And then getting all these elements is what empowers my Incarna. So it's very mobile. It's not hard to get 1 air. I mean, I have a growth option that adds air. I assume all my uniques add air as well. So that's pretty much you're going to be pushing at least once a turn. And then Mind-Shattering Song. So slow power, range 1 from a sacred site. Remember, the Incarna is always a sacred site, so range 1 from that. Targets the land with strife. You can do 1 fear per moon you have, 1 damage per sun you have, which is cool, to invaders with strife only. And for each pair of moon and sun you have, destroy 1 invader with strife. Ooh, that's cool. And that doesn't seem like that difficult a threshold to reach. So that's actually a pretty strong way to add to destroy cities. So if you can get this, you can destroy a city with Mind Shattering Song. That's awesome. I like the idea of that as well. It's kind of like an eldritch horror from D&D or something, where you're just going in and shattering people's minds with this otherworldly song. So I like that idea. And then let's take a look at the power cards. So I've got Exhale, Confusion, and Delirium. It's a fast power. Targets only with Strife. 2 Fear. Invaders with Strife don't participate in Ravage, so that's a good way to keep those Strife tokens on the invaders, rather than just having them disappear. Frightful Keening. It's low power, targeting your Incarna. Push your Incarna, and if this pushes your Incarna into a lane with invaders, 2 Fear there, before adding that Strife. Turmoil's Touch. Target spirit may pay either 1 energy or discard a power card from a hand to take a minor power into their discard. You may do likewise, and I'm playing True Solo, so this is one that I can use to target myself. So I can discard a power card to take a minor into my discard. So you don't get your minor into hand, you take it into discard. That's interesting. I like the art on this card. That's very pretty. It's free as well, so a good way to get some elements. And then Twist Perceptions. Add 1 Strife. You may push the invader you added Strife to. And if you add Strife to a town or Explorer, you may push that invader first with Senseless Roaming before pushing it with this power. Interesting. So that's a way to push cities, because that can push invaders. So that's pretty unique. Not a lot of spirits have the ability to move cities. I think it's just Finder. I think there maybe it was somebody else as well, but yeah, it's a pretty rare power to be able to move cities. Usually they're locked in. So the fact that you can do that with just a 1-cost unique, pretty good. So I think I've got everything set up. So let me go ahead and do my initial explore. It's jungle, and then I'll be good to get started. So that's not too bad. Should be able to push this guy out to stop the build. Might have to let D2 go, we'll see. But if I get to move my Incarna in there, I'll get to deal with that. Although they're not going to build, I might want to move in and put the Incarna into that city, just so I can save the Dahan, because Dahan are going to be important. I think counterattacks are still going to be good, even though I have to really care about my positioning in order to get those counterattacks to actually go through. I start with 0 energy per turn and 1 card play per turn. I might want to underplay a little bit. I don't know that I need to do too much. So if I go for maybe 2 top, you got a sun or a moon. Although if I go towards the 3 card plays, I think that will be pretty good. Let's see, if I add 2 presence this turn, if I do grow 3 next turn, I'll get extra energy. Still means I'm a little bit poor, though, to do that, since I don't get any energy if I don't take anything off top track. So I don't know that I can just go straight bottom. That seems a little bit risky. Let's see, I can probably get my Incarna empowered pretty quickly, though. I'd like to get to the 3rd level next turn. I don't think I have to worry about... Yeah, I'm not gonna worry too much about anything else this turn. So let's try to underplay a little bit. I think I might go for growth 2 and go from top and bottom. I unlock 2 card plays. Let's see, 3 and 1. Let's just get into the center of the board. So I get 1 energy, but I think I'm actually going to save my cards. That way I have an easier time getting to the 3 card plays next turn, which I think is going to be a little bit better. Maybe. I think that's what I want to do. So I'm gonna underplay. I have 2 card plays, but I'm not gonna play any. I'm gonna save them up until I have 3. I guess I could play one of my cards, and I'd still be able to play 3 next turn, reclaim the turn after that. Probably not too bad. See, Terminal's Touch, I'll be playing just for the elements, so it doesn't help me too much. So let's get some fear on the board. Go with Frightful Keening, I guess. And then I'll have my other cards that I can play next turn. So let's do this. Yeah, I think that's good. So, yeah, so I'll do Frightful Keening. That's fine. That's the end of my card plays. So I'm going to go to Fast Powers. I have Inscrutable Journeying with my 1 air. I'm going to push that into here. And then add a Strife under that town. Okay. So that's that. Now I go to Invader phase. I'll flip an event just for timing. No fear cards. I miss out on Lesser and Spirits Imperiled, but I couldn't really afford it this turn, so that's okay. Then build in jungle. Explore Sands. That's okay, I think. Maybe. Okay, cool. Now I go to the slow powers. So I just have Frightful Keening, so I'm going to target my Incarna, push it in here, add a Strife into that town. And I get 2 fear there. So if I push into a land with invaders, 2 fear. So cool. Discard cards, go back to growth. I had already kind of planned out my growth, so I'm going to go growth 2 again. Go from bottom. Do I have any 0 range cards? I don't think so, really. Nah. So let's go over here. Set up a Sacred Site there. I get 1 energy. And I'm going to play my 3 cards, and then figure out what I can do later. Seems okay, maybe? I don't know. I do miss out on empowering my spirit by doing this. If I had waited for 4 card plays, maybe better. I don't know, but I'm playing it this way, so we'll see what happens. I can unlock the Reclaim 1 in a turn. Okay, yeah, I think I'm happy with this. So let's do that. Alright, so twist Perceptions. Yeah, because I'll move in there. Cool. Yeah, I'm all set. Okay. So let's go to Fast Powers. I'm going to do Inscrutable Journeying first, I think. Yeah, that's fine. So let's go here. I've got the 2nd level, so I can do that again. So then I'll push in here. Okay. Then I'm going to do Exhale, Confusion, and Delirium into this land. So it's 2 fear. And invaders with Strife don't participate in Ravage. I want to keep that Strife on the city so I can deal with it a little easier later. So let me just mark that. Alright. Now I go to an event. Temporary Truce. In lands with Dahan, one Dahan, and 1 Downer City do not participate in Ravages. Oh, so they would skip it anyway. That's alright. Alright. Well, and the Dahan are not participating anyway. Then Prey on the Heedless in each lane with Beast. 1 damage per beast. No, I didn't put Beast on this lord. Oh no, I did. Right here. Not used to being me in the coast. Board D is a weird one. Speak of the Spirit's Anger. For each board, 1 fear if Dahan are in lands with towns and cities. That is a yes. Alright, fear card. Defend one in all lands. Cool. Demoralized. Alright, get to the Ravage, so they'll lose their strife here. Here, nothing's happening. 0 damage. The Hunter not participating in that Ravage, thanks to spread tumult, and confusion. Delusion. Excuse me. So that's that. Take this back. Alright, so the Ravages are done. Next is going to be a build in Sands. And then explore jungle and wetlands. Jungle again, okay. Alright. A little dangerous getting jungle again. We'll see how I can deal with it. So now we go to the slow powers. So I don't think I'm going to be able to use Turmoil's Touch because I don't have any energy. So that's just being played for the elements, which is fine. I do have Mind Shattering Song. I don't have the top level, unfortunately. I'm 1 air short. But I can do 1 damage per sun that I have to invaders with strife only. 1 range from a sacred site. So let's see, how much sun do I have? I have 2 sun. So I can do 2 damage to a invader with strife. I also get 1 fear per moon that I have, which is 3. So 3 fears is quite a lot, actually. So Mind Shattering Song I'm using here on land 7, I think. Yeah. So I'll do 2 damage to that town as well. Kill that. Then I've got Twist Perceptions. So 1 range, target a lane with invaders, add 1 strife, and I may push the invader that I added strife to, which again can be a city, which is dope. So where do I want to do that? Maybe do it into 6. I have a plan, I think. So let's do it here. The problem is if I push that, no, it keeps the city from being built in land 6, which is fine. So yeah, let's do that. So then I'm going to push that town over into land C7. Okay, yeah, I think that's good. So let's discard cards and go back to growth. I'm going to reclaim. Get to add my Incarna to a lane with my presence, which will be D7. I'll add a strife under that city. I gain 1 energy plus 1 for my presence phase. I wonder if... So it's when my actions add or move my... Does the growth count as an action? I think it does. Yeah, it's not a power, it's an action. So yeah, that's still good. Okay. Oof, sorry, my leg is going now. Alright. Cool. So I've got 1 power card. Now I could play 3 cards. I'm not sure that I want to. I think I want to underplay a little bit so I can get to 4 card plays next turn. So if I play one of my 0 cost cards, I should be able to do that. I can probably play 2 cards actually. And if I save that, let's see. I'll be able to get to 4 card plays next turn. Okay. Yeah. So I only want to play 1 card this turn, because I'm going to reclaim 1, then I'll be able to play all 4 of my cards next turn. So, again, underplaying. I don't love it, really. But it's going to be okay. Let's do that, because I get a nice effect with it. Exhale Confusion and Delirium. And let's see, I'm only moving my presence once, so I'll probably want to do it in D7 just to keep the strife there. So that'll be fine. Okay, cool. So let's go into fast powers. I'm going to do Exhale, Confusion, Delirium into D7. So invaders with strife don't participate in Ravage there. I also got 2 fear. And then I have 1 level of Inscrutable Journeying, so I'm going to push my Incarna. I guess I'll go... here. I'll go up there. Okay, so that's that. That's all my fast powers, and now I go into an event. So I'm in stage 2 and 3 now. So fortification. After advancing invader cards, invaders build in one terrain not shown under any invading action. Okay. Beast attack. Each beast deals 2 damage. So this was back to full health, but it gets destroyed, which is fantastic actually. Gets me a second fear card, and it's going to stop a build. But I do remove any token that destroys a town or city. Well worth it. Coming of age. On each board, add 1 Dahan to a mountain or sands with Dahan. Cool. Cool. Let's just stack up in there. Alright. 2 fear cards, so power level 1. Actually, I'll keep this. Sorry. Actually, remember fortification for once. Mimic the Dahan. Each player removes 1 explorer or town from a land with 2 or more Dahan. Sure, I'll stop a build. That'll be good. And then each player may replace 1 town with 2 Dahan, or 2 explorers, excuse me. 2 Dahan would be great. 1 fear per player who does this. Okay. Yeah. So, rules question. This is probably something that I have to look up, but if I were to replace this town with 2 explorers, would each of those explorers get a strife? I'm not sure. That's something that I would have to look up. That's an interesting question for sure. I do get 1 fear for that. Okay, now we go to the invader phase. So they're going to ravage in sands. Here, the Dahan are not participating because my Incarna is next to it. This guy does 1 damage to the land, which doesn't do anything. Here they do blight, which is unfortunate, but I'll probably be able to help there later, hopefully. I don't know that I deal too well with big stacks of explorers, but yeah, I'll have to get some card that will deal with that. Then I've got build in jungle and wetlands. My wetlands are clear, but I do get 2 towns in my jungles. Oops. And then explore coastal, which works out nicely since it's board D. Although D2 is a bit of an issue, but I think I'll be able to deal with it okay. We'll see. Now I have slow powers, except I can't afford any, so that's fine. So discard cards and go back to growth. I'm going to do growth 2 once more. Go 2 from bottom, unlock that, reclaim 1. I'll just go over here. I will reclaim Exhale, Confusion, Delirium. I get 1 energy for presence. And now I can play all 4 of my cards. I'm not sure if it's good to lock myself in a reclaim loop. Oh, and I forgot fortification. I had it right here. So invaders build in 1 terrain not shown, which is just, well, could be mountain, could be sands. I'm going to do mountain. They build in mountain. Mountains are empty, so nothing happens. Alright, so that was fortification. So now let's play my 4 cards. And I think my starting cards do unlock a lot of stuff, so it's not too bad. I don't get the 3rd push from Inscrutable Journeying. but that's okay. All right, cool. So 4 card plays now. I might be stuck in a reclaim loop. We'll see. I can probably break out of it if I need to once I get stuff done. So that is my card plays. Let's go into fast powers. So I definitely want to go into D2. So let's do inscrutable journeying first. Go in here with my first push. Having a bunch of explorers is actually not the easiest thing to deal with. And then I'll push over here. Then I have the 4th level here, so I do empower my Incarna. So now this land is isolated, which is cool. Can you exhale confusion and delirium? Let's use that. I'm not going to get a big counterattack, so I'm going to use that on D2. So invaders with strife don't participate in ravage. And it's 2 fear. And I think that's all my fast powers. So I'm good to go to an event. Well-prepared explorers. For the rest of this turn, explorers have +1 health. Beast Prowl. Each beast generates a fear. I don't have any beasts, so that's fine. And then on Coming of Age, on each board, add 1 Dahan to an inland land with Dahan. So unfortunately, can't add 1 into D2. So let's go here. Alright, so I get to the Ravage. So right here, Han will take a damage, fight back, kill that guy. Right here, they are doing 3 damage, unfortunately, so they will blight that land and kill the Dahan. But the strife doesn't get removed, so that's good. And then right here, he's just going to lose his thing. Build in Coastal. So D2, still a problem. This might be the first game of these Nature Incarnate games that I do get a blighted island. So we'll see how that goes. Alright, so I've got the escalation first. Let's throw the escalation town in D4. And then explore into the other mountains. Alright, so that's that. Now I go to slow powers. So I have a couple here. First, let's see, I have Twist Perceptions, I have Frightful Keening, Turmoil's Touch. A bunch of stuff. I also have Mind Shattering Song, which is going to be good. I would like to stop the Cascade from D2. Not as worried about D3. I can probably let that one go. Maybe stop it next turn with Inscrutable Journeying. First, let's do Turmoil's Touch. I want to get some power cards so I can break out of a reclaim loop, so I'm going to pay 1 energy to gain a minor power into my discard to take a minor power. There was a terminology difference between take and gain, and I'm going to look that up real quick, because I can't remember if I still get to choose if it's take. That's Incarna. Let's see, bring, upgrade, downgrade. Taking a power card. To take a power card, put the top card of the specified power deck into your hand. Do not forget a power card when taking a major. But in this case, it's a minor power. So I'm just taking, so I just take. minor power, put it in my discard, and its promises protection, which is actually a pretty good one. So that'll be nice. So let's see, target spirit, and then I may do likewise. So I actually get to do both. I get to do it twice, but I don't have another energy to pay or another card to discard, so yeah, I can't do it again. Alright, yeah. Let's see. So let's do Frightful Keening. I'm going to push my Incarna into D2. And a Strife. I got 2 Fear there. I guess the Fear happens before the Strife, which I'm not sure really what difference that makes, but that is how it goes. Let's do Twist Perceptions as well. So I'm gonna add a Strife. Let's see. I'm gonna risk this. I'm gonna add that into D3, and then I may push that invader that I added Strife to. I've also been forgetting about senseless roaming, so when my actions add Strife to a town or city, I may push it. So I should have been doing that as well. It would have been helpful at certain points this game, and it will probably be helpful next turn. So I'm going to remember that now. But with this, I'm going to push this into here. And the reason for this is that now I can use Mind-Shattering Song in D2. So I get 1 fear per moon that I have, which is 3, so I get another fear card. Then 1 damage per sun that I have to invaders with Strife. I have 3 sun, so I'm going to do 3 damage to this city to get 2 more fear. And then for each sun-moon pair that I have, destroy 1 invader with Strife, which is these 3 towns. Very cool. Very, very cool. I do kind of like this spirit, actually. So that's 3 more fear. A loud cat at my door. So I'll have 3 level 2 fear cards. I don't know that I want to gamble on one of those level 2 fear cards, stopping 3 explorers from doing garbage. But maybe it is worth it. I don't know. Alright, so that was Twist Perceptions and Mind-Shattering Song. I think that's everything. So I'm going to discard cards and then go back to Growth. And I am going to do Growth 1. So I gain an energy, reclaim cards, add or move my Incarna to a land with my presence. Let's go into D5. Okay. Adds a Strife there, and now I'll remember that I have Senseless Roaming, so I can push that. I'll push it into D7. Alright. Moving stuff around. So I could gamble. I have 3 fear cards. I might get another one before the invader phase happens. So I could potentially just gamble on the fear cards stopping that D2 cascade. Might be worth it. We'll see. I get 1 more energy from Presence. Four card plays. Gathering Dahan in there might be okay. So I think I'm going to do Promises of Protection. It makes it more likely that the fear cards are going to help me out if I get Dahan into D2. So let's do Promises of Protection. I want to be able to roam twice. So I do need to play 4 cards, 3 air cards for that. But I think I'll be able to push off. I don't think I'll need to reclaim next turn. So thanks to getting a power card. Which actually Turmoil's Touch might be really good to get me another card in hand. So let's do that. And then I can push Fear, maybe? Let's see. Twist Perceptions is probably pretty good. I think I just want to go for more Fear. So let's go with these two cards. Yeah, I think that'll work. Okay, cool. So that's that. Let's go into fast powers. So first I have Inscrutable Journeying. I'm gonna hop over here. So let's get a Strafe under that, Strafe under here, and I'm going to use Senseless Roaming to push this into here. Now that I realize the benefit of that power, I'm going to make more use of it, because that is quite good. Kind of locked myself in the corner there, but I think that's okay. Alright, cool. So Promises Protection. I'm going to pull these two Dahan into D2. Dahan there have +2 health this turn, which I will mark. And then I have Exhale, Confusion, and Delirium. Let's just target this land. It's my only land with Strife, so I have to. 2 Fear. Invaders with Strife do not participate in Ravages this turn. Okay, cool. So I've got an event coming up. Let's see. Dahan trade with the invaders. Some seek knowledge, others are interested in tools and trade goods, still others simply curious. All hope to avoid violence, and the invaders seem amenable, at least for now. You may ignore their interest. Dahan do not participate in Ravages this turn. Display your Wrath at this betrayal. Costs us 2 energy per player, aided by fire. Each spirit with Dahan in one of their lands destroys one of them and generates 1 fear. Would get me an extra fear card, so that's not too bad. And I can, or I can change and help them learn from the enemy. 6 energy per player, aided by air. So that's doable. Dahan do not participate in Ravages this turn. Each spirit forgets a power card. From next turn on, each Dahan provides defend 1 in its land. It's pretty good, but it's a little expensive. And I think I'm just going to display my Wrath at their betrayal so I can get an extra fear card this turn. Well, let's do that. I've got 1 fire. I'm going to pay 1 for the others. I'm going to destroy one of these Dahan. Get me a fear, which gets me actually very close to winning this game, because if I can destroy that last city, then I win, if I can get 4 more fear as well. So yeah, pretty close to ending this game, actually. Outbreak Shift. On each board, push 1 disease. There are no diseases, so that's fine. Alright, 4 fear cards. Let's hope one of them stops the Ravage there. First is Dahan Threaten. Each player adds 1 strife in a land with Dahan. For the rest of this turn, invaders have -1 health per strife to a minimum of 1. Cool. Just need 1 defense there now. Each player adds 1 strife in a land with presence. Great. Each spirit gains 1 energy per sacred site they have in lands with invaders, which I do have, actually. The energy is helpful. Flee from dangerous lands. On each board, remove 1 town or explorer from a land with badlands, wilds, or Dahan. Awesome. So that stops that cascade, which is fantastic. And Spreading Timidity. Each player chooses a different land to isolate, also defend 2 in those lands. Sure, so what's coming up? So stage 2 cards coming up next. So, I've already had coastal and mountains, so it could be pretty much anything. So let's just isolate that one, and oh, I only get to do one. Yeah, let's just do that. Okay, so now we have Ravage in the coastal lands, so they do 1 damage here, not enough to blight. They do 1 damage here, damages it to Han. These guys will fight back, because my presence is all the way in the corner over there. Although, yeah, it's not adjacent, so there we go. And empty. Build in mountains. Mountains are cleared. This spirit really does have excellent control. I should have been making use of that earlier on. And then explore sands with the escalation. So I'll throw that escalation town into D2. And then explore sands. And I should win, really, in the fast phase, I think. I don't have enough damage to kill that city yet, so I don't quite have it this turn. And they're going to get another city here, but I can push that out, so that shouldn't be an issue. Maybe. Okay, let's see what happens. Alright, so I explored sands. Alright, so now I go to slow powers. I've got Mind-Shattering Song. I have to target a land with Strife, so let's save that. So I've got Frightful Keening. Let's do that first. Push this guy into here. Add a Strife under this Explorer. And I get 2 Fear. Almost a Terra level 3. I'm going to pay an energy, which fortunately I got, to take a power card into discard. Call to Trade is a good one. I guess I could just reclaim this next turn. I didn't want to, but it's not too bad, actually. Yeah. So I'm going to do it again. I'm going to do likewise, so do it a second time. So I'm going to discard Twist Perceptions, and then take another power card. Voracious Growth. Okay, that's fine, I guess. So that's that. Now, I did Frightful Keening, so I just have Mind-Shattering Song. I can do 1 damage per sun that I have, which is 4. 2 invaders with Strife only. So yeah, let's kill that city. Oh, I do get it, actually. Nice. Sorry. Yeah, really, 1 damage per sun. Okay, sorry. Yeah, I thought I would need more moon to actually get this. So, yeah, I've got it. Let's do the 4 damage there. There are no cities on the board. And actually, I got 2 fear just for doing that power, so that's that. And I don't have the highest level, so just did it with the damage. So there are currently no cities on the board, Terra level 3, which means that I win. That was unexpected, actually. It ended up going a lot faster there at the end than I thought it would. Very cool spirit. Let me go ahead and score this up, and then I'll be back to talk about it some more. Alright, this ended up being a 56-point game, which is quite good. And really, this kind of continued my impression that these spirits are pretty well designed. I do think that these nature incarnate spirits are a little bit higher in power level than the average spirit from the previous versions of this game, maybe. Still, I don't think any of them are really overpowered, just powerful. And they seem to be built in a way where you can just kind of, even for a high complexity spirit like this, I could kind of learn as I go, and it still feel really, really strong. The control that you get from senseless roaming is excellent, and I needed to take advantage of that more. I do think it'd be a little bit harder against, say, England, where you can't really just stop builds by pushing out of towns, or Scotland. Russia as well, a little dangerous to kind of push all the explorers into one place. Although, I mean, the fact that you can keep the The Stripes on is okay, but I do think Russia is probably a tough adversary for this one. So I'll have to give them a try against different adversaries and see how well they do. Adversaries where you can really control them well and stop the builds, like Brandenburg-Prussia, probably Sweden as well. I imagine the Spirit is very, very good against France to a lesser extent, just because they have a lot of explorers. I think those are going to be good matchups. Habsburg might be tricky as well. Yeah, so there are some interesting things with this Spirit. I think Brandenburg-Prussia is probably its strongest matchup, just thinking it through in my head, aside from Sweden. So, yeah, it's a good showcase for how strong this Spirit is, but I am interested to play them more against different adversaries and see how well they do, especially adversaries where Strife isn't necessarily as strong. I think that'll be a little bit trickier, but they're definitely good. I do like getting to 4 card plays that early and being able to unlock and empower my Incarna and get Mind Shattering Song. It seems actually very easy to get the highest level of Mind Shattering Song, and that is extremely strong. So yeah, if you can get that, that seems to be the way to go. I think this build path that I went, pretty good. Top track, probably good as well, especially since it's got an air on the track, but I liked this bottom track build, so I'll probably try that again. Maybe try some other things as well to see what works. But yeah, let me know what you think about Wandering Voice Keens Delirium in the comments below. I've got 2 spirits left from Nature Incarnate, and I've already got an idea about what I'm going to do next after I go through those spirits. Really, I want to learn the new adversary. So I'm going to be doing a series against that new adversary at each of its difficulty levels, using some of the new aspects for existing spirits. So you can kind of see new aspects and learn the new adversary with me. So let me know what you think of that. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. And as always, I will see everybody next time. Thanks.